Markets right here in ET. Now, a range session today. So while some sectors are still weighing heavy, like oil and gas, telecom sectors, even metals for that matter, in fact, they're the key pressure point today. Look at Tata Steel, that's down 3.5%. You've got a JSW Steel, which is down by about 1.5%. You've got a Hindalco as well, which is lower in trade. But then there are pockets of strength as well in the market. And IT has been consistently one such case in point. Of course, it's debatable whether this is just a tactical move or is there a material, move of flows that you're seeing towards IT. But Wipro, Infosys, these are stocks once again which are propping up on the screen. SBI, ICICI Bank, Eternal holding very strong. These are all looking good, and HDFC Life as well continues in its pole positions. So sectorally, you would have to say technology, automobiles are the ones which are chugging along nicely, other than select banks as well. But Dhananjay Sinha too joins in on the show to talk about what he's making of the market right now. Dhananjay, now pretty much at the end of the earnings season, right? What's the takeaway? Which are the biggest overweights and underweights after the reading from the earnings this time?
I think it's quite a difficult call at this juncture. If you look at the overall performance of the Indian companies, this quarter has been a very modest growth. It's low single-digit growth overall, and we are seeing a sort of a tepid performance across consumer goods. Even I would say even banking sector. Large components. If you look at chemicals and I would say even autos and stuff. So I think there has been a sort of a headwind as far as the overall performance is concerned. Margins have been under pressure. Sales growth of companies or non-finance companies and manufacturing sector has been very low. I think that is the broader context of the performance this quarter. And I think this is the first quarter when you saw the effect of the tariff imposition by the US, and that was only an average of 10%. So that was kind of seen in this quarter. And it also shows that the impact is much larger than what people think. So I think that is broadly what it is. As far as the markets are concerned, I think there has been a good amount of rotation and all that's been happening. People were looking at consumption themes, revival in rural, etc. The commentary from consumer companies, some consumer companies, being that urban is also showing some evidence of revival, etc., or at least people are hoping for such revival. As far as the banking sector is concerned, people relied a lot on other incomes to shore up their profits, but we had the pressure on margins continuing. So all those things were there. I think we'll need to really be very nuanced in terms of our positioning. At this juncture, people are looking at IT sector, which has actually seen a significant correction. It has also shown a fairly tepid growth as far as overall top line is concerned. But with the valuations coming down there, people are sort of looking at that. Within the auto space, there is some traction in two-wheelers, etc., that's holding up relatively better than passenger vehicles. I think that is one segment. Within the consumer space, I think people are looking selectively because you look at large heavyweights such as large companies such as HUL and others, which have actually, Page Industry, etc., or other discretionary consumption items have seen a certain amount of pricing pressure. So I think, we can look at selective companies over there. So that is there. I would say there is in pharma, people are looking at the fact that it is avoiding the tarification at this juncture. So that is one segment. I think companies have done generally better. So I think that's another segment. So broadly, I think the uncertainty is very much there. The people are looking at sector rotation, and I think every month, I think this can actually change. The views can change. Sectoral overweight, underweights can change.
That's the sectoral call coming in by Dhananjay. But with this, let me also welcome Arpit Beriwal as well as Sharon Ninane on the show. Very good afternoon to both of you. And Arpit, let me come to you first, because before we head towards that long weekend, what we are seeing is that the markets are also in a bit of a wait and watch mode, because since the start of the day, Nifty 50 seemed to be consolidating, a bit of an outperformance for Nifty Bank. Where do you believe that the markets can shut shop today, given that we also have that weekly expiry?
So very good afternoon to all. If we talk about Nifty first, so after almost relentless selling of last 6 weeks, this week has been relatively better. We have seen some recovery from the lower levels, and talking about Nifty, so relatively you have seen outperformance this week so far. So looking at the chart structure wise, definitely as per the weekly closing, we are expecting Nifty to close near around 24,650 levels. That is also it's trading above its VWAP level. So the closing about 24,650 will definitely pause in negativity from last 6 weeks. Talking about Bank Nifty, relatively, we've seen a very range-bound move in Bank Nifty from last 4 to 5 sessions between 55,000 to 55,600 zones. Relatively, today it's outperforming, but a closing above 55,555 would definitely set the next leg of momentum. And in the meantime, we're expecting a range-bound move, but definitely on the weekly charts, Nifty and Bank Nifty both are closing on the positive side, bullish candle. So definitely, we can see some momentum next week if we see a follow-up buying going forward in Nifty and Bank Nifty both.
Okay, so that's the take on the markets. Sharan, give us a sense of the moves you're seeing on the entire oil and gas space. Of course, given that tomorrow is that Trump and Putin meeting, we could maybe hear something on the India-Russia oil trade and any discussions on that front. Do you believe the market is already penciling in some negativity here? Because if you take a look at the likes of HPCL, IOC, BPC, HPCL is down 4%. How are some of these stocks shaping up on the charts?
So, Snehi, I think that is more to do with, I think there can be petrol and diesel price cuts. I mentioned it in the morning only. So maybe on that front, I think more or less they are reacting this HPCL, BPCL, IOC. I think day before, if you remember, I gave a short call on Oil India. Because I think this sector is the main reason why this whole tariff situation has gone from 25 to 50%. So again, it's too early to take a call. Maybe it's just their first meeting of Trump and Putin, and they follow up with another meeting in the coming week also. So we'll have to wait and watch. And looking at the Nifty, again, so flat since morning. I don't think anyone wants to take a position on either side, neither on the short side, neither on the long side. So looking at the market to even talk about oil and gas sector, which is the main reason for this whole issue, I think it's too early. We'll have to wait and see what happens over the weekend.
Indeed. Just looking at some of the active movers, and metals clearly is that one pocket which is under pressure, but that's not quite the case with IT. And look at what's happening within the broader end of the market. While it still continues to favor the declines, and you've got a counter 140 standing to the declines, but look at a Muthoot Finance, for instance. That's scaling higher still by about almost 10%. Manappuram is looking very smart with a 4% dash up. You've got Kalyan Jewellers as well, which is also holding higher by 4% as we speak. And then, of course, you know, names like Naukri or erstwhile Info Edge, Uno Minda, these are all stocks which are holding out very, very smartly within the liquid universe. Arpit, what is your sense on how some of these gold financiers should be looked at? The earnings, of course, have been very smart, but a Muthoot and Manappuram, for instance, what's your call here?
So generally, if you see, we have seen a very secular rally from last couple of months in the finance companies. However, in last couple of weeks, if we talk about the chart section of Muthoot Finance particularly, the stock was in strong uptrend, and last 4 to 5 weeks, the stock was trending downwards. However, post his result, the stock is again back to its life high. So looking at the primary trend, the stock is in strong uptrend, and after almost a consolidation breakout, after almost 6 to 7 weeks trading above 2670 levels, definitely the stock can head further towards 2850, 3000 plus levels positionally. So I think setup wise, Muthoot Finance is very strong, and definitely post here also we can see more upside towards 2850, 3000 levels with major support around 2650 zones.
All right, so that's about Muthoot Finance. But today we also spoke with the management himself, George Alexander Muthoot, MD of the company, talks about their loan growth business outlook going ahead. He also adds that the non-gold loan business to be 15% of their portfolio in the next 2 years. Let's go across and listen in.
Going forward, we would like to do our gold loan business, focus more on the gold loan business, and side by side gain traction on the non-gold loan also, especially the home finance, where we have actually invested. The board has decided to invest another 200 crores in share capital in the home finance. So probably going forward in the next 2 years or so, we should see the non-gold loan portfolio reaching about 50%, 15%. Today it's about 11%. But our main focus always will be the gold loan sector. Going forward, our steady state yield should be in the range of 18.5%, and our spread should be in the region of 9.5%. So we'll continue to do that. NIM should be in the range of 11.25, 11.3.
Coming in from the management of Muthoot Finance, that stock is higher by about 10% and continues to hold on to all of those gains it has seen post a very strong Q1 numbers coming in. But time now to get in some BTST ideas from our techies. And Sharan, you go first. What's looking good right now and where are you placing your bets?
So I think, Sneh, if anyone wants to buy or even sell today, I think they should first understand Monday will be a very volatile day. So before doing anything, please understand your risks and then only take the trade. I think two counters are looking quite decent today, if at all anyone wants to trade. First is United Spirits. I think it's looking decent. It's shown some kind of reversal from the bottom. It's trying to reclaim its 20-day EMA. So I think it's a good bet if you want to do a BTST, buy today and sell on Monday on United Spirits. 1320 is the current price about. So a stop loss of just around 40 rupees, 1280 and a target of 1360. Second, Indian Hotels. I think in a shorter time frame, it's given a breakout of a descending trend line. In the last 3-4 sessions, it's shown good uptrend. And I think it's if it continues its momentum, it can actually go to that 800 odd level. So United Spirits, again, it's a BTST trade. So buy at 770 odd level. Your stop loss should be 760 and your target should be 780 to 790.
Well, United Spirits, Indian Hotels, Sharan surely is gearing up for the long weekend, aren't you, Sharan, already? Okay, then Ajay, I'm going to throw in one more name, Interglobe Aviation then. I think it's made a fresh high also today, but then... I mean, you know, what's a fair value really for some of these stocks which are leaders, marquee in their sectors, and what's a good price to pay? What's your thought?
So the thing is that you know the traction in the aviation space continues to be good. I would say the volume growth, the travel numbers are actually aviation numbers are pretty good, I think, and they have the pricing power and all. I think we also have a sort of a tailwind with respect to a softening in the crude prices that has happened in the recent months. So I think all those things are adding to the margins and stuff. So I think, and of course they have a sort of a near monopoly kind of a scenario. So I would say in this sector can continue to see good traction. I think, I mean, and in the context where most of the other sectors are seeing sort of a headwinds, I think these are certain pockets where investors can see, earnings consistency. I think that is why the market might be looking at this company in a positive way.
Right. Okay, Dhananjay, thanks for your time. Good to be speaking with you today. But Arpit, any stock ideas that you may have before we wind down for the week?
So looking at the overall market, specific selective pockets are still looking good. So from the new age company, Eternal. So if you look at the chart structure on the monthly and the weekly setup, it's very strong. Today we have seen a fresh range breakout on the daily scale above 314 levels. Trading a life high trade, so definitely we can see more momentum towards 330, 335 levels. So Eternal would be a first pick with keeping stop loss of 305 for an upside move towards 333. Second would be from the aviation space, Indigo. So as we already discussed about, it made a fresh life high. So very strong counter across the sector. Weekly range breakout above 5950, and definitely we can see good uptake in coming week. So the Indigo we can go long with keeping stop loss of 5870 for an upside move towards 6250 levels for the coming week.
All right, so that's about Indigo as well as Eternal. Both the counters are at life high levels, and Arpit does believe that more upside could be in the making. But with this, viewers, it's time now to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.